Okay, it's 11:01, so I think I'll get started. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for being here on this Friday morning. I hope I'm finding everyone well and healthy. I know we're in a critical time, and I really appreciate Nice T-Cell stepping up and making sure that we are getting educators in our state and maybe even around the world more prepared for communicating online. And I'm really happy to have the opportunity to share this with you. My disclaimer is that I'm not necessarily a Zoom expert, but I have a lot of experience with it. So I'm an educator, much like all of you probably are, um, and I have a lot of experience with Zoom. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen just for the moment so we can see everyone who's here. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad to see so many faces. So again, I stopped sharing my screen, so now we're able to see a bigger picture of everyone who's participating. And I will go back to sharing my screen, but I was just taking a bird's eye view of who's on. So I'm going to hopefully move slowly enough to where uh, we are able to kind of work through this together. So that's the basic gist of today. I'm hoping that we take some time to look at Zoom together um, and just be able to get some experience playing around with it. Again, thank you, Nice T-Cell, for inviting me to do this Zoom Basics course. My name is Shauna Sweet. I am with Midwest Arbor, and I'll tell you a little bit more about us. And I am doing this webinar in partnership with Nice T-Cell. And I really appreciate Nice T-Cell really mobilizing and trying to make sure that we're getting the help to the people who need it. I'll just tell you a little bit about me. So I'm a specialist with Midwest Arbor. Arbor is the Regional Bilingual Education Resource Network. We work under New York State Department of Education, Office of Bilingual Education and World Languages, and we support schools with English language learners, bilingual education, and world languages. So there are 7 Arbors across New York State. Our office covers the Rochester region, so you can see on your screen the different shaded portions around Rochester with the 4 BOCES and the Rochester City School District. But wherever you are in New York State, you have a fabulous Arbor office to help you. So again, I'm available, I do some things to support the entire state, but I'm available to the folks in my region, but you can take a look at our website and link to all the different Arbors around the state. My background is an ESL teacher, so a teacher of English to speakers of other languages in K-12. I'm also certified English language arts. I've been at Midwest Arbor for about 6 years now. Monroe to Orleans BOCES has a fabulous distance learning specialist who's really helped me to learn Zoom for the last couple of years to be able to communicate across the state. And also, I am an instructor at Nazareth College. I teach graduate programs in TESOL and international TESOL. And through Nazareth, I've taken some courses in online and hybrid instruction. So again, really prepared me for teaching online. Currently, I'm at the Warner School of Education. I'm doing the school building and school district leadership program. That's just a little bit about me, so you know who I am. And I'm just going to start off with some housekeeping. So just so everyone knows here, the session is being recorded, and Nice T-Cell may be sharing it online or sharing it with different educators. So just so you know, it will be recorded. So whatever you see on your screen is what's likely to be recorded. Another thing I like to share, and we'll get some practice with this, but muting. So when you have a lot of people on a Zoom meeting, it's really important to make sure that you're muted at all times, and we'll get some practice with that. I can mute everyone who's on right now, which I've just done. But it's important when you're participating with a large group, especially if you have any background noise, that you make sure your microphone is muted. And again, we'll get some practice with this. Another thing, if you're a teacher in New York State and you want CTLE credit for this 1 hour of participation, and that's if you're a New York State certified teacher, we'll have some information at the end of the session of how you can get CTLE credit. And I also have some resources that I will share at the end of the session. So what I'm going to do right now is just take a look at the chat box. I just want to see, okay, people are just talking, introducing themselves. And yeah, okay. All righty. So just an overview of what we'll be talking about this hour. First, we'll just do a Zoom overview and get into some of the basics of what is Zoom. This is kind of a 101 level session. There are many features to Zoom that you know, are for more advanced users. So there's ways to do polls, and there's ways to do you know, different kinds of integrated activities through Zoom. But today we're going to focus on the basics of what's really the most important if you're new to using Zoom. So we'll talk about some of the features and get some practice, hopefully, with using those. We'll talk a little bit about Zoom etiquette and what really is important, especially as instructors, to share with your students. How to host a meeting setup. We're going to try to explore that a little bit. And then I have some tips and some resources for you that I'll be sharing at the end. So just to do a really quick overview on Zoom, you know, what is it? So Zoom is a web conferencing platform. There are a lot of different features and benefits to it, but basically it can be video, audio, you can do screen sharing and recording. So it's good with communication for synchronous meetings. And, you know, in the world of online instruction, synchronous is if you're meeting at the same time. Asynchronous is when you're providing instruction and people can do it at different times. But for synchronous meetings, Zoom is a really great option for meetings or to do lessons. There is an option to have breakout rooms for small groups, and I'm hoping we can get some practice with what that looks like in this next hour. Also, it's great for one-to-one meetings or having remote office hours. I'm noticing my typo there. I thought I fixed it, but I guess I didn't. So you can have remote office hours through Zoom. There's a waiting room feature, which I won't get into this hour, but there is a feature where you can have office hours and people can be waiting for you. And again, I'll share resources from Zoom that will tell you exactly how to do that, but we just won't have time in this hour. The good thing about Zoom is that it's free to join. So those of you who just clicked on the link to join this webinar today, you know that it was probably pretty simple. You just clicked and you joined. So the great thing about Zoom is anybody can join. So to host a meeting, though, you need an account. So that would be to have the host controls and to set up meetings. So the good thing about an account is that anyone can have one, and there are free and basic levels of accounts. So I'll just share that with you. So taking a look at the screen, and I got this right from the Zoom website yesterday, so hopefully it's the most up-to-date information. Anybody can start a Zoom account for free if you go to the website. And with a free account, you can host 100 participants. You can have unlimited one-to-one meetings, and I believe you have a 40-minute limit. So there is a type of limit where you can't meet for hours on end with the free account. But there's a whole bunch of different features that are available. And I believe with the pandemic that's going on right now, Zoom, the company, has extended some of its free options, some of its free services to K-12 schools. So I'm fairly certain that if you're a K-12 teacher, you can get, you do not have a 40-minute limit anymore. So that's something that That's something that we can look into afterwards. I wasn't able to explore that because I have a pro option. So through my school district, I have a pro account. And with pro, you can have up to 100 participants in your meeting. Your meeting can last, it's not timed, it can last as long as you want it to. And there's a whole bunch of other different features. But the most important thing for you to know is it's free to have an account. It's free for anybody to use Zoom. So if you're working with students and they say, oh, do I have to pay to have an account? No. The only person who needs to set up an account is the host. Everyone else can, join for free. And I hope that's clear. And again, I'll have time to answer questions afterwards. So this is where we're going to have some time to hopefully explore some of the Zoom features. If you noticed, sometimes it gets tricky. I've watched several webinars where people are teaching how to use Zoom or they're teaching how to use online features. And it's really hard to tell the difference between what's on the screen and what's actually part of Zoom. So if you've noticed, I put a little bit of a texture onto this picture there. That is a screenshot of what a participant meeting looks like. So again, that's just to try to help you with making sure you're not clicking on the screen, which is actually part of my slide. So that's a little trick that I use. But again, this is the time where I want us to basically just try to use some of the features. This is the place, it's hopefully a safe space for you to be able to do that. So we're going to go in this order, and this is the part where I'm going to get audience participation. So the first thing we want to try using is the chat. So I hope everyone's able to find the chat. If you hover over the bottom, there is, it usually lights up orange if there's some messages. And what I'm going to ask everyone to do is just find the chat box, click on it, open it. You can make it larger or smaller. You can move it around the screen. So if you can find the chat box, I would love it if everyone just sent a message to everyone and type your name and where you are from. So I'm just typing my name, my city and state, and yeah, this is great. So we want to see everyone. We've got Buffalo, New York City. Oh, this is great. North Carolina, Queens, Carmel, New York, Astoria, Alexandria. We got some from Rochester. This is great. Pakistan, Whitestone, Seneca Falls, fabulous. Home of Women's Rights Movement, New Paltz, okay, fabulous. So anybody can type a message in the chat box at any time. You can send a message just to the instructor. So if you click on where it says to everyone, you can send a message to any individual person. You can send it to just the instructor. If you have a friend that's in your class and you want to ask them a question, you can send it just to them. And the group chat can be moved around, so wherever you want it on your screen is where it can be. So that's a really nice feature of the group chat. I will say through teaching with Zoom, I love using the group chat to have student participation. You can have people answer questions, kind of like we just did with introducing ourselves. Sometimes it is hard to manage the chat feature and presenting at the same time. So depending on what you use Zoom for, you might want to build in some time as the instructor or the presenter to be looking through the chat. Sometimes I even had a colleague, if I was doing a large webinar, I've had a colleague manage the chat while I was doing the presenting, or vice versa. Or sometimes I have more than one device, or I could use my iPhone for looking at the chat. So it can get a little tricky, but the chat feature is really it's really helpful, and it's easy to use. So hopefully everyone was able to do that. The next thing is the muting and unmuting. So again, like I said before, this is really important when you have a large group or if you're teaching a class. I'm always pretty clear with the expectation that muting is important. So if I want everyone to just practice right now, if you hover over the bar at the bottom, towards the left-hand side is where you can see the microphone. And if you can, just practice muting and unmuting. So you all should be muted right now, which means the microphone should have a red line through it. But if you click on that, you can mute and unmute. So I'll just have everyone practice. You can even unmute and say hello and then mute it back. But this is just practice mute.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
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 Hey.
Hi, Shauna.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Can you guys hear me?
Hello.
morning.
Will you move back to town?
Hello.
Do I have sound?
Yes, I hear you. Whoever just
Okay.
said that.
Thank you. My volume wasn't working at the other conference, so I thought I fixed it. So I'm glad I did.
Oh, okay. So, so again, if everyone wouldn't mind muting themselves again, that was just a little bit of I muted myself by accident. So if everyone, is comfortable with that, another thing you can notice on the participant screen, if you're taking a look at the different folks, you can see if somebody's muted or not. I know it's really a good, it's best practice to have people mute themselves if you have a large group, but sometimes people want to say something and they forget. So you can easily see if somebody's name has that little red line through the microphone, you can tell who's muted and who's not. Or if you are in a session where, this happens often where somebody's baby's crying or somebody's dog is barking or they're, we're all homeschooling now, right? So you can easily see if somebody's, who's the culprit, and you can send them a private message and say, can you please mute your microphone? But again, muting is just a really good rule of thumb. The next thing is the video. So to start and stop the video, as you can see, it's right next to the mute, and there's different options for this. So if you have just your name on the screen, you can see some folks don't have a video going. But if you want your video to be shown, you could put start video. So this is something I was just hoping we can also get some practice with. How to start and stop the video. So if I put stop video, you can see my picture there. So somebody asked me, how do I get my picture there? I'm not sure if it's because I know I've had to log in online to do it. So your profile picture is connected with when you go online and sign up for an account. I don't know if it's an option for the basic versus the pro, but that's how I was able to do it. So again, you can start a video and stop a video, however you want. So as long as everyone knows how to do this, I'm not going to require that everyone has a video on. But one thing I will say is that when you are managing a large group on Zoom, or if you're teaching a class, I really do think that the video is important in terms of, having that continuity of a community. I've been in meetings where people kind of refuse or they're not comfortable with putting the video on. I'm hoping that we will begin to move in the direction where people are more comfortable with, have video chatting. But I just know that as an instructor or somebody who's leading a meeting, it's much richer when you're able to communicate and see one another. So as much as you can encourage that, the better. Or like I said, another option, even by just somebody having their picture, that's also helpful as well. Because even if you can't see me talking, you can see me, and it gives me, you remember there's a human behind the name in the screen. So that's just a recommendation for myself. So everyone knows how to do that, hopefully. The next thing, I know we talked about this in the beginning, but there's a speaker view, and there's different ways to have a gallery. So one thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take a look at, I have it on the side. There's thumbnail videos. There's a video where you can just see who's speaking. You can make it larger and make kind of a Brady Bunch screen. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can see who's in on the call. Now, if you notice that right now I'm sharing my screen, you can see my slideshow on there and you know, the slides. But if I stop sharing, then we can see everyone. So again, this shows different ways that you're able to see people. So again, if you click on speaker view, you know, you can just highlight the person who's speaking, or you know, you can go back to the Brady Bunch and see the big box of different names and faces. So there are different features for using that. I'm going to check the chat just to see if there are any questions. Okay, somebody says the profile pic is available even on the free version. So that's great. Oh, good. People are helping one another. So I really appreciate that. Again, hopefully we'll have time for questions afterwards, or I could always stay on a little bit longer and answer questions. So, okay. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. All right. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is the participants tab. So everyone should be able to click on where it says manage participants. And by that, you're able to see everyone who is on the Zoom meeting. You can see who has their camera on, who's muted, and there's different ways where you can, you know, if you are the host, you can mute and unmute specific people. Also, this participant section is where you can mute and unmute everybody if you're hosting. But if you're not hosting, you know, there are also different functions that you have. So for example, there's reactions there. So there is little buttons that say yes, no, go slower, go faster. There's buttons that say thumbs up, applause, need a break. So if anyone wants to click any of those buttons, you can go ahead and do that in the manage participants. And I want to see if you are what you're thinking.
Where is manage participants?
All right, so manage oh, I'm sorry. It just says participants. I apologize. Mine says manage participants because I'm the host, but you guys should have one that just says participants. Right. So just see if you can explore the participants page for a moment. And I'm taking a look at, I have another laptop here so I can see what it's like on your end. So if you click on participants, that's another, you can raise your hand. So if you have a question or you need to hold, you can raise your hand. You can answer yes or no. Like if I say, oh, how many of you want to take a 5-minute break? Yes or no. Or, you know, do you think, you know, you need me to go slower or faster? So again, there are different options, you know, and as the host, I can see that, let's take a look. So Amani gave a thumbs up. I can see that Edna is clapping, and you know, Jeannie said yes, and so the like. So that's exactly how you are able to raise your hand, and the person who's the host is able to see that. So that those are the raising hands and reactions. So I'm just going to take a minute to slow down and take a look at the chat box to see if there are any questions that I can answer right now. So somebody says, do you have a recording of this? It is being recorded, and Nice Teasel will be sharing that afterwards. I'm not sure how. Laura might be able to help us with that, but I am recording it, and we will be able to share this afterwards. With recording, this also isn't something that I'm going to get too much into, but if you're teaching a class on Zoom, you can record it as the host, but there's also a way for your students to record it if they wanted to record it themselves. And as the host, you can not allow people to record it, or you can give people permission to record it. Again, that's a little more than the basic features, but thinking about recording, those are just some options. So if I wanted to allow you to record, I could, or I could prevent you from recording. So there are a lot of different options with recording. But what Laura said was that, you know, Nice Teasel is going to post this to social media, and she'll send it out to the members on the Monday memo. Okay, somebody says if you don't have participants up, will you get a notification that someone has sent an icon? I believe so, yeah, I believe so. I'm pretty sure that's the case. So again, I have more experience as a host, so I'm doing my best with some of these other features that I don't always see when I'm not hosting. But we'll get some time to explore some of these questions after.
I hit the raise hand button, but you didn't see that?
Raise hand. Somebody just did the raise hand button. Let me see.
Yeah, I did that.
Something did just pop up. So again, does anyone want to practice raising their hand right now? And I'll tell you. Yep. So 4 participants raise hands. So yeah, I can see that people are raising their hand.
Where
So
do you see
it
it?
pops up for myself, and I don't believe it pops up for you guys, but it's popping up for me. So
Where-
It
yeah,
does
I
pop
can see
up
it.
for us too. We can
It's
see it
popping
on
up
the
for you as
profile
well?
picture. Yeah.
Oh, good, good. Yeah, some of this is just, I mean, I do feel like Zoom is like riding a bike. You know, I've said that before, but for myself, you know, I participated in a couple of Zoom meetings, but it wasn't until I really got experience with it and I got some practice, which is where some of these different features became more comfortable. So that's exactly why we're doing this webinar today, just to do some digging into Zoom.
Can I ask a question?
Okay, somebody has a question. Okay, who's
Yeah.
speaking? Barbara? No, I can't hear.
Susie.
Susie.
Suzanne.
Okay, go ahead, Susie.
I'm looking at the participants drop-down box,
Uh-huh.
and there are little microphones and video cameras. Are those the things that light up when you're recording or not?
No, that actually means, so the microphone in the video camera is if somebody's microphone is on or if it's muted. If they're red, you can tell that they're off. And the camera is the red one. I believe for myself, there's a little round circle that is red and it's kind of flashing. That means that I'm recording. So I believe as an instructor or as a host, you can tell if somebody else is recording. Again, that's a little bit more of an advanced feature, but the microphone in the camera is your microphone and your video of participation. So, good question. Does anyone else have a question so far?
Yes, I wanted to ask that there's an option to share the live stream on Facebook. How to do that?
An option to share a live stream on Facebook through Zoom?
Yep, in Zoom.
Okay, that I'm not really sure. Unfortunately, I don't
I've
think I
been
can answer that
yeah.
one.
I've been attending some webinars and they are, actually on Zoom, but they share live streams on Facebook. So I
Okay,
wanted to ask. Mhm.
I can try to
I
look
would
into
just
that.
volunteer that that's a very advanced function and we're doing basics here.
Yeah,
Yep, maybe.
I would say that. At the end, I do have a link with resources. I mean, there's a lot of resources on the Zoom website, but I'll be sharing those towards the end of the session.
That's
So,
great.
okay. So I'll just.
Does my picture come up?
I'm not sure who's talking.
Oh, Denise, because I'm on video and I noticed someone else's picture came up when they spoke.
I see your picture, Denise, when you're speaking.
Okay, but am I supposed to be able to see my picture too? I see Juliet's picture, but am I
I
supposed
see
to
mine and yours. I'm on top of you.
Yep. So everybody, that's a really good question. And that's something that takes some getting used to. So when you're on Zoom and everyone has different, you know, like I said, the participants view, so the screen where we can see each other, everybody's looks different because we could set that however we want. So I might want to hide the videos altogether, which I just clicked on all the way to the left. And I can't see anybody's video. I clicked on that one that says hide thumbnail video, and now I can't see anybody. If I say show small active speaker view, then I can show just a small video of one person who's speaking. You can also have the one with the 2 lines is where you can see just a few of the different people. And click around, and then there's one, the grid video, I call it looks like a waffle. That's where you can see more people. So I'm seeing 6 people at a time, but you can make it bigger. So the portion on your screen where you can see each other, it may look different for each person. But you can also move that around. So if you are looking at my slide right now and the screens are covering something and you don't want it, you can move those. You can move those around. So you can just practice getting that and you know, seeing the different angles. So it's hard to think about the fact that it might look different for each person. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
And I was able to move it around and now I see 6 pictures. So
Yeah, and you can make it bigger or smaller. So there's just different ways around it.
thank you.
But exactly, that's exactly why we're doing this, just to get some comfortable together.
Now, how do I move the chat box?
So the chat box, which is, I believe, at the bottom, let me see. I know I've got my daughter's laptop here too, so I could see 2 different angles. So the chat box is, how do you move that? I believe you can just move anything. I mean, I have the sidebar at the bottom. You should be able to move that.
So if you just click on the top of it, like next to the minimize, maximize, and X out button, if you just click on that and start moving it as you're clicked on it, it can move anywhere. You can also make it larger or smaller. If you hover on the side, you get the double arrowheads.
Thank you. Thank you, whoever said that.
Yeah,
so
Joanna.
the chat box can move around just like, you know, the screen view can move around. So you can move those wherever you want. You can minimize them.
I don't have that where I can minimize my chat box. I'm on the bottom of my screen in the chat section.
The bottom of your screen in the chat section, and you opened up the chat, and can you move it around?
Oh, okay. So minimize.
Right. You can.
I can make it larger and small. Okay.
You can make it larger and smaller. You can move it around, and you can close the chat box. And then if somebody else sends a message, it'll blink for you and let you know that somebody's sending a message. So again, that's the thing that's hard to get used to with Zoom, is that it might look different for everybody depending on, you know, where your screen, you know, how they set up their screens, or if somebody's using, you know, an iPhone or an iPad versus a laptop, or, you know, it could look different for each person.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So I'm going to talk a little bit about screen sharing. and how to do that. And I'm going to ask for a volunteer for this part. But the one thing about screen sharing that's important to know, and you can take a look here on my slide, that's an example of what it looks like when you're sharing a screen. So with screen sharing, it's important to have whatever you want to share already uploaded. So for example, I wanted to share these slides that you're watching right now. So I made sure that it was open and it was easily accessible. And you also want to be cautious because if you're sharing your screen, you know, you want to make sure that, you know, if it's something that's personal or you don't want it on there, you should probably close that out before you get onto Zoom. So to share your screen, you can share anything. Right now you're seeing the slides. I'm going to stop sharing right now. So at this point, you shouldn't be seeing my screen at all. And you're just seeing, you know, everyone who is participating in the webinar.
I see you.
Oh, somebody have a question?
I see you.
You can see me. Yeah, yeah. You can see me. Hopefully you can see other people as well. So I'm also going to, sorry, let me just try one thing here. I'm also going to show you how to navigate different websites and different presentations. So right now you're not seeing anything, but to share your screen, you just click on, there's a little button at the bottom that says share screen. And now I just opened our Midwest Arbor website. So you should be seeing that now. So here's our website. I'm scrolling down it. You can look at that with me. I'll click on it. Here's our webinars page. So you should be able to see that. So everyone can see the website, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. And then if I want to go back to the PowerPoint, I have to do a new share. So that's the one thing about screen sharing that it gets a little bit tricky. It takes some getting used to, and it's almost like a habit. So right now you're looking at our BOCES 2 website, but I want to go back to the slideshow that I was just showing you before. And if you want to do that, I'm sorry, but if you want to do that, you're not seeing what I'm seeing right now. So you're looking at one thing. I have to do a new share. Okay, so now I want to stop my first share, right? And I want to do a new share. So I have to click on share screen again. And now I'm going to go back to my slides, and there you go. So you can be doing something on your computer, but people aren't seeing it. So each time you switch from a website to a slide, or you know, a video to a slide, you have to remember to do a new share. And like I said, it takes a little bit of practice, and it's not difficult once you remember to do it. I've been doing presentations or meetings, and I think somebody's looking at my screen and they're not. And it's just really, you know, it's considerate when somebody says, oh, we're not looking at that. Oh, I have to do a new share. So that's the one thing you have to remember is to set up.
Do you have to close
share.
the original share?
I'm sorry?
Do you have to close the other share first?
You don't necessarily have to. That's a really good question. So I'm on the slideshow right now, and I'm going to go back to my website and share it. So you should be seeing my website. So that is a good question.
But did you hit share, or did you just quickly shift to that screen?
You have to click new share.
Oh, okay.
So right now on my computer, I went back to my PowerPoint, but I didn't share it. So what I have to do is go to new share, and then I'm going to go back to my slides and share it. So you have to remember when you're switching between windows, I guess, and again, I don't know the technical term, but if you're switching between windows, you have to do a new share.
And is there, because we only see share screen on the host, will it say new share?
Yes, yes. So what I'm going to do is ask if anyone would volunteer to share their screen. If you have a document that you can pull up or a website, just to get some practice, because I as the host can share my screen, but if somebody else wants to share their screen, they can do that as well. So do I have any volunteers?
I'll do it. It's Joanna.
Okay, Joanna, thanks. Do you have something you can pull up? So what I'm going to do is, can you try to share something right now, Joanna? It might tell you can't because
Yeah,
I'm
I've
sharing
been
mine.
trying, and it keeps saying you cannot start screen share while other participant is sharing.
Exactly, because I'm sharing my screen. So what I have to do is stop mine. And now, Joanna, you should be able to share yours. And you let me know.
Oh, okay. I see it. So it gives me choices for what I can share. So this is really boring because this is the only other thing I have up. But look, I am in a Zoom meeting right now.
Yep, so that's your Zoom meeting launching. Good. So now, you've shared your screen, so I can see exactly, what's on your screen.
And I could click off of this, but you wouldn't see that. I would need to reshare or whatever you were talking about.
Exactly. You have to share your screen again. And I can stop your screen as well, Joanna. So I'm going to stop yours and I'm going to start mine again just because.
Okay, so if you hadn't,
I'm the host, so I can do that.
Sure. If you hadn't stopped it, at the top where it said, there was a little red thingy that said stop share.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what I would have clicked to? Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
Is there anyone else who wants to try sharing your screen?
I'll do it. This is
Okay.
Jeannie.
Who said that?
Jeannie.
Jeannie. Okay. We're going to let Jeannie try it. And again, if you wanted to, after the session, get more practice with this, I'd be happy to practice it with you if you wanted to afterwards. But we'll let one more person. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Jeannie, can you share yours?
Yes. So I had, oh, it's giving me options like.
Yes. So whatever you have open, it's going to give you that
this
option.
is what I wanted to share. Okay, got it. So this is a PowerPoint on giving oral presentations.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's not letting me go to the next.
There should be a way to do it, but I'm not sure. Because you are able to switch slides while you're presenting. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's not letting me go to the next slide. Oh, wait a minute.
Usually you just click as you would any PowerPoint. So
it didn't let me do that, but it's letting me do it another one. So okay. Here is if I was giving a PowerPoint, I would just be able to go through.
Yep, it says questions, and we're all seeing your slides right now.
All right, I'm having to do it in a really weird way.
Sometimes it just takes some getting used to, but.
Okay.
Thank you for volunteering. And if anyone wants more practice, after noon, I'm fine with practicing it with you a little bit longer. But I'm gonna, do you want to stop sharing your screen, Jeannie? Or?
Got it.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna show you one more feature, which is called the whiteboard. So when I click on share screen, I have a couple of different options. I have my website that was open. I have my slides that was open, but I also have a whiteboard. So I'm going to share that with you. And now you can see my whiteboard. And so if I wanted to, do a math problem, I don't know why I would do that because I'm a language teacher. But, 4 + 4, I can do that. And then other people can join on as well. So you should have a floating toolbar where you could add to this whiteboard. So I hope you can see it. If you hover, let's see, how do we do that? Let's see. Where is the toolbar? That's what I'm trying to figure out as well. Mine is just there. And so anybody who found the toolbar, who's drawing, where was your toolbar? Did it just show up? I'm trying to remember. This is not a feature I use very often, so I've
got a pencil.
You have a pencil?
Mm-hmm. So I can make a heart.
Okay. And where did you find the pencil? Did it just show up?
It just showed up.
Okay.
Mine is on top. It says
Yours
you're
is-
viewing Shauna Sweet screen, and then
Mhm.
next to it, it says view options. I click there, and
Oh, view up. Yep, I see that.
Okay.
request remote control, annotate. So you click on annotate, and you can draw.
Can you repeat how to get there?
Yes, so if you look at the top of your screen, in green, it says you are viewing Shauna's
Yes.
screen, right? And
Yes.
the red dot blinking. Next to it, there's like a black tab that says view options. And then it's gonna say fit to window, 50%, 100% original size, 150, 200, 300, request remote control, and annotate. So you
Got
click
it.
on annotate.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, like I said, this is a feature I want you to know about, but I don't use it that often. But the one thing I will say about the whiteboard is you can also save it. So if we came up with something together, we're doing team planning or whatever it is, I can save it, and it will. I'm not sure where it shows up, but there is a way to save your whiteboard. So again, that's just one option. I don't use it that often, but I'd love to know how you use it if you do.
Can you use?
It's in the, it's Joan Walker. It's up in the
On the end of the,
annotation options at the right side. It says save.
Can you use that during a slideshow?
yes.
You can, but you have to switch your screen for everyone to be able to contribute. So you have to switch your screen. So again, my slideshow is my slideshow. I'm going to stop share now. So I'm going to stop sharing the whiteboard. Next, so then I have to go back to the slides and share. So again, it's
Can I
just
ask a
another
question?
screen option.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, hopefully I can answer
It's
it.
Joanna again. So is there a way to turn off the annotations for everybody else? Because I'm imagining if students figure it out, they could have a ball while you're trying to teach the
Right.
lesson and you couldn't really tell who was drawing what.
There is. And look, it looks like somebody drew on my screen, so that's really funny.
So I guess you can annotate all the time.
Yeah, I guess so. There is a way to turn it off to students. Again, I don't know how to do that, but I'll share a bunch of resources where you can hopefully find that information.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm going to move on, and it's really interesting. It does look like somebody drew on my screen, so I don't know. Maybe I gave you guys permission that I don't know what I did. So
I don't know how they got the pen now.
yeah, I don't know. Again, these are a little more advanced features than I'm used to, but I'm not sure how to
The person who got the pen, can you tell us how you got it there?
You can
Yeah, whoever's-
annotate on a PowerPoint. It's the same way you did it on the smartboard.
So you can do it on a PowerPoint.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then you can save the file. So just so that if you want to present a slide and have people, you can have them mark it, you could have them write an answer, you could do something like as tally marks as you're collecting. You can then press the save and it will download it as an image file.
So you could actually have an essay and make changes show the whole group how you would make an edit.
You could do that. You could also give them the ability to highlight certain words. So you could ask them to look for prepositions or do other things with a document that you have up on the screen and allow them the ability. And now, I used to work with GoToMeeting, and you did have the ability to limit the number of people who were accessing it. You could turn that ability on and off. You could also limit the number of people that could speak at one time. I'm not familiar enough yet with Zoom yet, but I'm thinking that is probably something you'd also like to have. I used to keep it to no more than 3 people at a time so that people wouldn't talk over each other.
Yeah. Thanks. So as the host, you have the ability to clear the drawings as well. So that's what I just did. There's an annotate button, and I was able to clear everyone's drawing. So that is something you can do as a host. And I think some of that's a little bit more advanced. So again, I'm not that familiar, but hopefully, need to learn how to do that, you can spend a little bit more time. So the next thing I'm going to try is breakout rooms. So breakout rooms is a way that we can, sorry, I'm not sure how to stop the annotations, but I'm hoping we can stop the annotations now.
Real life experience.
I know, it's fun. It's fun, but I could definitely see students getting carried away with that also. So breakout rooms is another option where you can put people into small groups. What you are able to do is break people off. So if you have a large group, you can break people off in groups that you determine yourself, or you could just do it randomly. And so the way that you do that is through the host. So only the host can do this. And let me see. So it's on the host features. So I'm just going to quickly put people in random groups and then come back together. So I'm going to put you into breakout rooms, and it looks kind of like what's on your screen right now, where you can assign people automatically, or you could break it up into a certain amount of rooms. So we're just going to take a quick minute. I'm going to put you into breakout rooms, and you're going to have to accept it. You're going to have to accept the invitation. So we're about 40 people. I'm going to put us into 5 different rooms. It's going to randomly put people into rooms. And it's so you'll just jump on over, and then we'll jump back together. So we're going to do this rather quickly, but just to get an experience of what it's like. So it's asking if you want to join a breakout room.
Where do we answer?
It should just pop up.
Didn't pop up for me. I'm looking at your page.
Oh.
Assign participants into, and then you choose how many rooms.
Yes. Now, did something pop up asking if you wanted to be in a breakout room?
No.
No.
Yes, it did.
Okay. Let's see.
Hi, I think I remember Elke. Did you do a presentation? Do you teach at the New York City Public Library?
Yes, I do.
Oh, I remember your presentation. It was great.
Thank you.
Hi, guys. As the instructor, I can pop in your room and say hi, see if you have any questions. Okay, I'm going to pop out now. Let's see. How do I do that? Alrighty. You want to leave this breakout room? Return to
Hi. Hi. I can't see the people in my group, and I did tap to join the group. You've
Shauna, it's Joan Walker. When I left,
Hi.
When I left this breakout room, I was able to see your screen for a moment, but then it went away. Did you turn it off, or?
Say enter full screen or exit?
Okay, I thought you wanted me to click on it, so I did.
Oh, it's okay. You can just go back to it. What does it say when you don't click on it?
How do I go back?
It should still be there.
Oh, I see. Yes, it does. Exit full screen.
So yeah, exit full screen.
Okay.
There.
And, oh, okay. And then you should be able to see everybody's pictures.
No, I see. Oh, it's changing. Hold on a sec. No, I see. There's one picture that changed. Oh, now I can't even see it because there's something covering it.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, it automatically took us back to the meeting from the breakout room, and there was a countdown that should have appeared on your screen.
No, I just have a picture of Denise Kovac.
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have. Now I have student tips for participating online learning.
Yeah, we're in the main room.
Yeah, we're in the.
Right, but we lost the host.
She might, oh, well, oops.
Maybe she gave up on us.
I was muted.
In the upper right-hand corner.
I was muted. I apologize.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So fun with Zoom, right? The more you use it, the more, you know, the more it becomes. Like I said, just riding a bike. Maybe breakout rooms was a little too ambitious. Maybe that was more the advanced level.
Shauna, did you set up the breakout room when you scheduled the meeting?
So no, as the host, I just set it up automatically. You can set it up so you put people in certain rooms. Again, that's a little bit more of an advanced feature, but I just wanted you to know that it was a possibility.
Right, but where do you go to put people in breakout? Oh, I see you have I didn't have that icon in mind when I was a host.
It's as the instructor. So again, that's something only the host can do.
No, but there was a time I hosted a meeting and I couldn't, and that wasn't there.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Maybe we can look into that. So I'm going to move on right now from breakout rooms. Maybe we can do a session just on breakout rooms. But I know that it's getting close to noon. I'm okay to stay on a couple more minutes, but I just wanted to give you some tips and just know that, you know, because it's getting close to noon, I don't want to go too much over, but I can stay on for questions and try to help you work through things if you need them. I just want to be sensitive of other people's time if they were expecting to be done at noon. So we're going to talk a bit, oh, sorry. Of course, my mouse is getting away from me right now. Thinking about etiquette, just some helpful tips. You know, some of this we've talked about before, but this student tips for participating in online learning is included in some of the resources that I'll share with you. So again, making sure you're muted is important. Using the chat to ask questions, and raising your hand. Those are just some etiquette tips, especially the muting, and also being sensitive of your background. If there are people who are zooming into a meeting or a class and there's a lot going on in the background, it gets distracting. Another more advanced feature is you can have a virtual background. So yesterday I was at a meeting where somebody was in front of the Golden Gate Bridge. Again, that's a little bit more advanced, but you know, having a nice flat wall or you know, something where there isn't a lot of movement behind you is a good way to go. This video, because of time, I'm not going to share it. It's only about a minute long, but I have it available for you on the webpage that has resources. The one thing that I want you to know about sharing videos on Zoom is that you're able to do that, but you have to click a specific box when you do the screen share that says you want to enable video and audio. So you can share video. So if I wanted to share this video with you, I can with the sound, but can you guys hear that? Can you hear the video? No, that's because I have to do a new share. So if I wanted to do a new share, I would click Share Computer Sound and optimize screen sharing for video clip. And then I'm going to do the share. And now you should be able to hear it.
Once in the Zoom meeting, there are a range of controls that can be used. Simply select the microphone icon in the bottom left-hand corner of the Zoom meeting window, video camera icon. You can select Invite to invite others to the Zoom meeting.
Okay. So, oh, I lost it. So was everyone able to see that? Was everyone able to hear the video at that point?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
good, good, good. Okay. So again, I'm just gonna go through a couple of last minute details. So here's some quick tips just for hosting a meeting or teaching through Zoom. So one thing is just making some time, kind of like we're doing today, making sure that you spend some time with students becoming familiar with Zoom. It's not going to happen instantly. I think that some people are more tech savvy than others, but you know, even just having a Zoom 101, you know, mini chat where people can get familiar with some of the controls. Another thing is to map it out. I've had Zoom meetings with multiple people, and because I didn't know who was coming to this webinar today, I couldn't send you out an agenda ahead of time. But anytime that you can provide an agenda for people to follow along with, or you know, give them the slides ahead of time, it's really helpful for those people to kind of know where you're going, and it just makes it much more clear. The visual markers as well. So even for having meetings, if you're having meetings without the visual cues like we have with the slides, it becomes really challenging for people to follow along, especially if you're a visual learner. So as much as you can, use slides and images, but don't over rely on them, because just know that people have different size screens, and you know, it's good to have those visual markers, but putting a lot of text or a lot of information on the screen tends to get a little bit tricky, because you know, everyone has different capacities with technology. The other thing is having clear expectations. So discussing the online etiquette, making sure people are, you know, knowing when to mute and when to unmute. And also, like I said before with the video, I usually require people, you know, I really strongly encourage people to have their camera on, because I just think it's really helpful for that person-to-person communication. Embracing the pause, so you know, making sure that you are giving some time for people to digest information, and you know, giving that opportunity as you would interact in person, trying to make sure you're having wait time and time for people to type in the chat bar and things like that. Keep it authentic. So try as much as you can to get familiar with speaking as you would in a face-to-face contact. Looking at the camera, I know for myself, it was something I had to learn where to look, because you're used to looking at people on the screen, but you really should be looking at the camera. So that's something that I guess takes a little bit of practice. And my last tip is just to be vulnerable. I mean, this is all new technology for everyone, and I don't think anyone would expect you to get it perfect on the first time. I mean, I know myself, like I said, there's some things I'm pretty good at and some things I'm not so good at, but with practice, you know, I think that we'll all become Zoom experts in no time. So I did want to share with you, I created a small web page with some resources and with the slides from today's session. So there are two ways you can get to it. You can type in this website, you can click on the link, or there's a QR code that should work to access the resources. But I'm going to go to the website, and remember I was sharing my slide, so I have to go to a new share. because I have to go to a new share so you can see what I'm looking at. But this S'more site is specifically for today's conference. So there's the link to the Zoom site, so where you can start an account. Zoom has a specific page for the COVID-19 pandemic with resources specifically for the time we're in right now. Zoom video tutorials, there are tons of them, and Zoom also does different types of webinars each day, so you could check out that site. And then I've shared some of the more basic resources that I think are just really helpful. This quick video is how to schedule a meeting. This video gets into the meeting controls, so some of the things that I've been seeing that you couldn't see as the host. It's another quick video. There are some print resources, so some PDFs that would be helpful, including the student tips that I just showed you. Breakout rooms. This website here is not a Zoom website. I believe it's from a teacher, but she created this website to help people learn more about breakout rooms. And I found that one pretty helpful because that's not a feature I've used very much. But now I'll be, teaching more online. I probably will be. Here's an article about the Zoom CEO who is offering free subscriptions for K-12 teachers, and just exactly how he's been, supporting the world of education in this time that we are right now. Here's the slides for today's presentation, so you're welcome to download those. CTLE credit. If you want CTLE credit for today, the 1 hour credit, you can click this button. There's a Google form, and Nice TESOL will be sending you credit. And finally, you have my email is right here. If you click on my name, you'll be able to email me little information about Midwest Arborn as well. So those are some resources. This webpage, you are welcome to share with colleagues or anyone who might find it helpful. It should be available for anybody. And again, to get the CTLE credit, you will do this Google form. So for me, that's all I have. And I know I went a little bit over time, but I really liked the interactive part where people were asking questions. So I'm here if you guys want to sign off. If you, got enough, all that you needed, feel free to sign off. If you have questions, I'll be happy to stay on and help you work through some things. We could work through them, or you could ask questions on the chat. So whatever you need, I'm here. And yeah, that's it. Thank you, everyone.